Hey everyone, I'm Colin here at Etrailer.com, and today we're going to take a look at Malone's freestanding bike, paddleboard, and kayak storage rack. Now this rack just makes it nice and easy to declutter your garage. You're going to be able to get all that stuff off the floor and off the walls from leaning up against it. Just get it on a nice vertical rack so it's out of the way and not taking up too much space. Now if you're an active person, you got a lot of bigger equipment like this and it gets hard to store it, this rack is a very nice solution. And kind of a bonus for it is while that it's keeping your stuff nice and stored, nice and organized, it's also going to keep it out of any harm. So your bikes aren't just leaned up against the wall, could possibly fall over if a vehicle runs into it. Same with your paddleboards, and even your kayak is on a set of foam blocks not making contact with the ground. Now I'm going to take a second real quick and go over each part of our kit. Now with the base rack, at the top we're going to have the Malone bike holder, which is this is going to be two sturdy steel bars with this nice foam wrapping around it. It's going to help protect the wheels of your bike from any type of scratches or abrasions. As you can see, we have it through the spokes of the wheels of our bikes, and we have 3 on there. That's going to be the load capacity for it. It's 3 bikes with 100-pound total weight capacity. Now if you have any height restrictions like I do, it kind of gets up there at the end of the day. You might be pretty tired. You don't want to have to lift your bikes up, especially if they get to be pretty heavy like our mountain bike back here. You can actually lower this holder. You see we have all of these slots on the back of our base frame. So you're going to be able to lower it about maybe 6 to 8 inches depending on how tall your bikes are and depending on how many paddle boards you're holding. You see with our example right here, we do have that 6 to 8 inches. We could lower it to make it a little bit easier to load our bikes up there. Now I do want to recommend when loading your 3 bikes that you have the heaviest one towards the base of the rack, followed by the middleweight, and then the lightest one out here in the front. Now how it attaches to our rack, our hardware is going to be included. For each holder, we're going to have 2 bolts that come through the upright of our base rack, and we're going to have 2 wing nuts on the other sides, tightening it down to make sure it's secure. Now right here we have our 2 stand-up paddle boards. The rack is going to be able to store up to 2 of them with 100-pound weight capacity. Well, down here we have our kayak. It's just sitting on a set of foam blocks that are covering our legs. There's really no weight capacity for it, but you do want to be careful when loading and unloading it depending on how big your kayak is. Now let's go ahead and unload our rack entirely and take a closer look at it. Now our Malone stand-up paddleboard carrier is mounted to the upright frame of the base of our rack. It uses these bolts right here with nuts on the other side to tighten down. You can see it's got a really nice sturdy hold once you tighten those nuts down. It's going to have a nice sturdy steel construction. It has this very nice soft pad right here so that when you set your paddleboards on top, it's not going to harm the finish of them. Now down here we'll take a quick look at these foam pads for our kayaks. What's kind of nice about these is that they actually cut out the bottom of them to align with the legs of our base rack, so it just sits right on top right there. You can see it's not going anywhere, and again that nice soft foam padding is not going to harm the finish of your kayak. Now the base of a rack is going to have a nice sturdy 12-gauge steel construction with a powder coat finish to help resist rust and corrosion. It's also going to have a 250-pound weight capacity, which is more than enough to hold your 3 bikes and your paddle boards. The weight of the kayak does not directly affect the weight on the rack, so you're not going to have to worry about affecting that weight limit. Now one thing I do want to point out when putting your rack together is you want to make sure you get your bike holder, your paddleboard carrier on the front of the rack where the legs extend out more, because that's what's going to be able to support the weight better. Now you also do have the option to mount additional add-on accessories to the other side, whether you want another bike holder, another kayak rack, it's really up to you. One thing I do want to suggest if you are going to mount stuff to this side of your rack to help with the weight is picking up the extension kit for this back side of the legs. It's going to up your weight limit from 250 pounds all the way to 500 pounds. It just, that longer base is just going to be able to handle that weight a lot better. Now down here you're going to see that we have these legs that are supporting the base of our rack and keeping it up off the ground. Now you can replace these with caster wheels made by Malone. You can pick those up here at Etrailer.com. That's just going to make your rack more mobile, so if you have to get behind it to clean, or if you even need to move it for any social event you might be having, you can get it out of the way. Now this is just one combination of Malone's freestanding rack. You can pick up others that might have more kayak storage, maybe more paddleboard storage, just really whatever suits your needs best. Or you can even just build your own by picking up the base rack and then taking all these as add-ons, which we sell all of them here at Etrailer.com.